All right, welcome everybody. It is Monday, August 15th. It's my mom's birthday today. I think she's in Rome or Italy or Venice or something like that, but I did call her earlier. But tonight is our Show Up Win of the Week Zoom. And we're so excited that you guys hopped on, because here's the thing. When you are doing a 90-day challenge, it takes focus. It takes grit. And hopping on any Zoom, any webinar, anything that you can is going to help propel you towards those goals that you have. So I want to start off. You want to add something?
With little Zig Ziglar for you. How many of you guys know who Zig was? One of the great business minds of the last century, but he always said that most people who fail or are disappointed in their dreams do not fail because of the lack of ability, but rather the lack of commitment. So huge win for just being here and showing up.
Absolutely. Okay, so I want to explain a quick concept for you before we go to hearing your wins for the last week. And the concept that I want to talk about is called Stop, Challenge, Choose. And this is a concept that Dr. Ray talks about in his life book and in his Habits of Health. And it starts with realizing that our brains have three different parts to them. There's the lizard brain. Have you guys ever seen a lizard and you like go to try to catch it, or you even move towards it and just goes, just like scurries off? Or
a little kid.
I know, right? But this is the part of our brain where things are just like automatic. It's like, boo, and you're like, ah. And we're glad that we have this part of our brain, because it's just like the instincts. It's the automatic stuff. We don't have to tell our heart to beat or our lungs to breathe.
Could you imagine having to tell your eyes to blink or to tell yourself to breathe or your heart to beat or whatever?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have time for anything else.
No. And then a little bit higher up than the lizard brain's more in the basal ganglia, just like, yeah, it developed first. Then higher up is your Labrador brain. This is like your emotions. Yes. Like think of a Labrador. It's like
wagging the tail
and give me food and love me. And we seek pleasure, avoid pain in the Labrador brain. Okay. And then there's the human brain. This is at the top. This is our prefrontal cortex. This is where we make our decisions with our goals in mind, where the rubber meets the road. Like everything actually does have to pass through the human brain ultimately, but a lot of times we don't stop to let that happen.
And the real challenge to this is the human brain, that prefrontal cortex. It requires consciousness and awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to force ourselves to observe what's going on.
Yeah.
Because our brains are not wired for success. They're wired for survival. Right? Security, approval, and control are the three basic human needs. And security, number one, like I have to stay alive, right? Approval, 10,000 years ago, cave people and stuff, I've got to be approved by my tribe or they're going to kick me out of the cave and I'm going to get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger.
Yes. So when stimulus and response are really close, look at this in the top here, or it's kind of covered. Let me go back. So stimulus and response are very close here in the top left. And that's what happens when you rely on the lizard brain and the Labrador brain to make your decisions. So here's an example. Let's say that you smell some food. Think of what is your favorite food that you would choose to have on your birthday. Okay, do you have it? I would choose probably
a salad.
I know I really actually like healthy food a lot, but if I were going to choose something that I could smell, it would probably be like pie. It would be like a berry pie or something like that. And you know, if you walk into a room and you smell it, then you're like, and your brain goes, food, eat, and your stomach rumbles. And then your Labrador brain kicks in and it's like, eat food now, might be a famine. Who knows when you get food again? You got to stock up for the winter, right? So these parts of our brains, they are wired for survival, to Jared's point. They're not necessarily wired for success in your goals. Okay, so how do we get from stimulus to response to have it go all the way up to the human brain? So this is where we separate stimulus and response. They're not right by each other anymore. They're far apart on the left and the right of the top of your screen. And in between this is stop, challenge, choose. And what stop, challenge, choose is when you have that impulse, when you smell that food, when your brain is saying, eat it all now, it's your last chance. That's when you can stop, take a deep breath. Everyone take a deep breath with me. And you challenge that thought. What do I actually want? Well, I have health goals. What do I want for my future self? There isn't a famine, I'm fine. And you can choose. You can choose the response that you want. And sometimes you might choose the pie. I'm not saying that you can't ever have a piece of pie, guys. You probably will in the future. It's okay. But what it's about is having that good relationship with your choices, being able to back those choices up and say, yeah, I made that choice and I'm sticking by it. And that's what we want for you guys.
Now, Bonnie put in the chat thread, breathing is everything. And breathing is part of the stop, because literally, and Bonnie said, literally, right? You have to breathe, the breath of life. If you stop breathing, you die. But breathing is one of the things that our autonomic brain does for us, but we have the ability to do it consciously.
Yeah.
Okay, we can change how we breathe. Most of us breathe very superficially all day long, and really short, tight breaths, all in the lungs, nothing in the diaphragm, down in the belly, right? And when you can slow down, and there's a lot of different breathing methods, square breathing or box breathing, right? Where you're just going around a box, like each side is 3 or 4 seconds. Okay, you breathe in, you inhale, you hold, you exhale, you hold. Right? And what this does is it changes your body's response from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. And you can actually reduce your cortisol levels and the stress that you are experiencing from whatever the stimulus is.
I love that, Jared. Okay, so we are getting to our wins of the week. And so find your reactions button in your raise hand feature. Those are the people who are going to share. So find that right now while I'm explaining what we're doing. So basically, I want you to think of a time in the past week where you had a win. So this might be that I stuck to my goals. This might be that I went for a walk. This might be a non-scale victory. Maybe you put that pair of pants on again, or maybe you had a scale victory and you were down 5 pounds. I don't know. You drank your water, you didn't yell at your kids, you saved money. I don't know, whatever it is for you guys. We want to celebrate some of your wins this week, or you can make a comment on stop, challenge, choose, or remember a time when you used that this last week. Okay, so raise your hand if you would like to share. Okay, Krista Pace, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be talking about this today. So I found out something really cool about me and stop, challenge, and choose. So one of the goals that I made as part of our 90-day show up challenge was to be on real 5-in-1, like not 5-in-1-ish, but like 5-in-1, like I'm starting this, I'm going to just be all in, showing up with 5-in-1. 5-in-1 and me are going to be like best friends. So that's what I decided. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And so one of my things that's really been a struggle for me lately is on Sundays, my husband loves to make bread. He makes the cinnamon swirl bread and all this yummy, like it's amazing bread, you guys. And he makes it for all of our neighbors and usually leaves a loaf home for us. But he knows, he's like, so you're on 5-in-1, right? And I'm like, yep, I'm on 5-in-1. He's like, do you want me to give all the bread away? And I walked out. It was so funny because I walked out and I smelled the bread. Like I love his bread, you guys. But I had already made a decision. And so as I breathed and I smelled it, and I'm like, I was, of course, challenging some thoughts, but it was so easy because I had already made the decision that I am all in 5-in-1. So the choose part was so super easy. I'm like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. You can take it to the neighbors. You can leave it home for the kids. I'm not going to eat it because I've already made that decision. I was like, that is so cool that I can make a decision, and it makes Stop, Challenge, and Choose like second nature once we make that decision. So that was my win of the week. I totally made it through all week and all Sunday, and there's even bread still in the pantry, and I don't even crave it. It's the coolest thing. I'm all in on 5 and 1 this week.
Awesome job, Krista. I love it. Okay, who else would like to share a win of the week? Joe, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm kind of similar to Krista. I'm all in, but I'm all in for 2 and 1. That was a decision I made because I wanted to exercise. I wanted to exercise a little bit more than what you would probably want to do on a 5 and 1 plan. And in order to ensure that I could be successful on that, I decided, working with Amber, who's my coach, that I would create a tracking sheet that I could use to measure my progress. It's right here. I've got lots of little check marks on it, showing successes. There's a few blanks here and there, but nothing that can't be remedied over the coming week in terms of improvement. So I'll just keep improving and having fun.
Awesome job, Joe. I love it. Okay, who else has a win of the week that they'd like to share? Oh, Annabelle, go ahead and get yourself off mute.
So we had last week where it was our first week back for teachers, and they were bringing in breakfast some days, lunch some days. Some of it may or may not have been plan compliant. And I texted Amber at the beginning of like Sunday night, and I said, I'm really afraid to mark 5 and 1 because I know what's coming. And her response was, let's build some trust, because that's been a big thing for me. And so I made the commitment that I was doing 5 and 1, and it didn't matter how many breakfast things were brought in or lunch things or whatever. I stuck to my plan because that's what I've decided I wanted. And even today, oh, is that the keto version of this, whatever? And I'm like, no, it's my version of this meal. And I just, anyway, I had some of the meats and none of the sauces, and I had my own salad to put with it. So that's, anyway, so that was a big win for me.
I love that, Annabelle. It's so true. Creating trust in yourself is huge.
Yeah, raise your reputation with yourself.
Yes. Bonnie, go ahead.
That just reminded me of a win. So I had a client of mine have a win, and it just like made my day. So I don't think he's on tonight, but he messaged me and he's like, hey, I had an example similar at work where someone brought in donuts, and they were like the bacon, the maple, all the things. And he had to stop, challenge, choose. But he said, you know what? I know what donuts taste like. I've tasted them before. What I don't know what it tastes like is being 58 and being at my high school goal weight. I don't know what that tastes like yet, but I'd rather taste that than the donuts. So that was a cool little stop, challenge, choose moment for my client.
I love it, Bonnie. Okay, so anyone else who has a win, I want you to just type it in the chat right now. Type your win in the chat so that we can just see all of the wins that have been happening in the last week for some of our amazing show up challengers. And to wrap our call up tonight, I want to do a little visualization / meditation with you guys. Okay. Because here's the thing is when we can practice this stop, challenge, choose, taking deep breaths, focusing on what we want to create, when we can practice that ahead of time, guess what? It's going to be easier when you're in the thick of it, when you have the breakfast or the bacon donuts. Okay, that sounds disgusting to me. Yes. That's okay. To each their own. But when you can practice this ahead of time, you are going to be strengthening the human brain. All right. So are you guys ready? I'm going to play a little music for you as well. Okay, so get comfortable, and I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Keep breathing as I talk. I want you to find an image in your imagination of your healthy self. Feel free to close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. See that you in your mind. It's the you that's inside of you. It's the true you. Can you see it? Now I want you to feel gratitude for this healthy version of yourself. Breathe in and feel the gratitude as strongly as you can. Breathe out. Throughout each day, anytime you can, bring this image and the accompanying feeling of gratitude to your awareness. Say, I'm grateful for my health in your mind. Now in your mind, repeat, I'm getting healthier in all ways. I am loved. I am worthy. I am grateful for my body. All right, one more deep breath in and then blow it out. Okay, open your eyes. All right, did you guys visualize the healthiest version of yourself? I want to take just maybe one or two takeaways of maybe what you were thinking of or how you were feeling or how you might use this moving forward. Does anybody want to share? While you're finding your raise hand feature, or Julianne, were you wanting to share? You found the clap feature. No, okay. While you're finding your raise hand feature for one more takeaway, I want to share with you guys my accountability of my goal, and that's to meditate for 10 minutes every day. Because I find that when we can slow down, when we can take those deep breaths, when we can visualize our goals, it's strengthening that part of your brain that makes those decisions that move you towards those goals. For many people, this is the missing link of being able to really move forward and attain those goals that you've been wanting for so long. That vision of your future self. Okay, anyone want to give a last minute takeaway? Okay, Nancy put one in the chat. I love expressing gratitude for my future self. That's expressing belief or faith it will happen. We'll end on that note. Thanks so much, Nancy. Okay, guys, we will see you on Wednesday night for our Healthy Together time and next Monday for some more win of the week takeaways. Thanks, guys. We'll see ya.